Okay, it looks like we're now live. Thank you for that. I'd like to welcome everybody to the meeting of Employment Committee today. In opening the meeting, before we begin the formal business, as we're in a period of national mourning at present following the death of His Royal Highness Prince Philip, the Duke of Edinburgh, all committee meetings being held during this period have been invited to hold a minute's silence as a mark of respect. With that, I'd be very grateful if the committee could pause for a moment at this point to conduct a period of reflection. Thank you. Okay, thank you for that. That's much appreciated. If we can move on to the formal business of the committee, please, if that's okay. I take members to item 1 on the agenda, which is to elect a chair for the duration of the meeting. With that, could I seek nominations and a seconder for the chair of the meeting, please?
Gerard, if I may propose Councillor Fiona Venner, please.
Thanks, Councillor Aaron. Thanks, Councillor Stevenson. With that, Councillor Venner, I could pass the chair to you, please.
Yeah, absolutely. So as Gerard outlined at the beginning of the meeting, the purpose is to draw up a short list for the Deputy Director post, which is for the adult social care, children's social care side of the Directorate. I've got adults at the moment, as you know, so I was getting a bit confused with my words then. And as Councillor Stevenson alluded to before we started the webcast, we've also got a vacant post for the other Deputy Director on the learning side, and that's also been shortlisted for recently. Okay, so if we could start moving through the agenda. So Gerard, do we have any appeals?
There's been no appeals received for today's meeting, Chair, no.
Thank you. Exclusion of the public. Are there any parts of the meeting there? We will stop webcasting.
Yes, Chair, thanks for that. With the committee's agreement, when the committee comes to consider the exempt appendix 2 to item 7, which is basically the applicant's details for shortlisting purposes, then this part of the meeting will be conducted in private.
Thank you. I've just realised something I should probably have done at the beginning of the meeting. I'm not, does everybody here know everybody else? Yes. Okay. I wondered if we needed to do introductions, but we won't if we all know each other. Declarations of disclosable pecuniary interest, item 4. No. Any apologies?
No apologies received, Chair, no, not today.
I think we do have a vacant space on the committee, though, in that the Lib Dems were asked to put somebody forward, and I don't think they have done.
That's correct, yeah. It's a committee of 5, proportionality, and yes, an invite was extended to the group, but there was no availability at this time.
Right, okay. Item 6, governance arrangements regarding the recruitment to this post.
Thanks, Chair. Yes, if I may, very briefly, this is a report of the City Solicitor, which basically outlines the governance arrangements and format for this particular employment committee. I'll assume that members have read the report, but in summary, it confirms that it's intended for this recruitment to comprise 2 committee sessions, shortlisting today and interviews on the 30th of April. It confirms that this committee satisfies the requirements around quorum and membership of an employment committee, that the meeting will go into private session, as we just referenced, to consider the applicant's details today and to conduct interviews when reconvened on the 30th of April. That prior to an offer of an appointment being made, executive board members will be consulted as the rules require. So with that, I would ask members to note the contents of the report and invite any questions should there be any.
Thank you, Gerard. Are there any questions about the report? Okay, we'll move to item 7, which is the appointment of the Deputy Director post. And this does include going on to item 2 to look at the candidates. Is there anything we need to do before we move to that point, Gerard?
I don't know if HR colleagues, Rosie, if you wanted to just do anything, outline anything in the public domain before we turn the webcast off for the private session.
Yes, thank you, Gerard and Councillor Venner. Just briefly, really reiterating what Councillor Venner has already stated. This is the role of Deputy Director of Social Care. It reports into the Director of Children and Families and will provide strategic leadership advice and expertise to decision makers across the council. They'll be jointly responsible for ensuring children and young people are safe from harm, do well in learning and have skills for life, and that they choose healthy lifestyles, have fun growing up, and are active citizens who feel they have a voice and influence. As outlined already, thank you, Gerard. We are shortlisting today. Interviews will be conducted by Children's Panel and Stakeholder Panel on the 29th, followed by interviews by Employment Committee on the 30th of April. And that concludes this element. If we could go into private session, please.
Okay, so